Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So we've got the backpacker for the final review. So I went ahead and I actually ended up getting my wife's 1322 gun off of her. I swapped her my Dan Wesson pistol, so fair deal. She's not really big on pumpers anyways. These things can be a real pain to pump sometimes. But anyways, it got me my valve right away. So I threw in a full power valve into this gun. And we've done a chrony test with it, of course. It's running in the 480s at 10 pumps, so we're all good to rock and roll, and that's with a 14.3 grain pellet from Crosman. Now, the Crosman pellets suck in this gun, but 14.5 grain RWS Super point extras work really well in this thing. And I'm sure I have a pellet somewhere in my collection that will work even better. And I'm going to try and dial in some stuff that works awesomely well, except for predators, because I'm not using this thing for small game hunting or pest control, though it is now more than capable of doing that, which is good. Anyways, so now we've got lots of power in this thing. We're good, you know. The gun is a great gun. I've had these years ago when they first came out, and they're awesome shooters. Like I never had a real problem with mine, though I did put a full power valve in mine as well, and you know, it worked great. No hassles, still under the 500 feet per second, so we were all good. Every gun is different though. The odd gun might actually shoot a little around that 500 mark or just a touch over. It depends on where you live, pressure systems, all that jazz can interfere. But at 480, we're pretty much safe just about anywhere on the planet, so we're all good there. Now, I do have a Crosman 4x32 scope on this gun. I'm thinking I might actually pull the big honkin' scope off of my 1322 and swap it for this one because it's only got a 10-inch barrel. And the bigger scope will make this look a lot more sniper looking too, which is kind of a look that I would be going for on this one. And being that this has got the 14-inch barrel, it's also likely going to be a lot more accurate, although that 1322 can snipe really well, so I'm pretty impressed with it. Anyways, let me turn my microphone up a little bit here. I think from what I'm seeing on my meters, I'm a little low, but this should help a bit. The crown is good on the gun. I'm very happy with that. I've done a main review on this thing before I swapped out the valve. This thing was doing like 360s, which is just pathetic. You could literally watch the pellet dump into the trap and hit the target at 10 meters. Completely unacceptable, and good luck trying to dial this thing in properly too. But just an unacceptable speed range for a under 500 feet per second 22 caliber gun. So we did have to change that, and we did, and we're doing awesome now. I would highly recommend these. Now, I did a bit of research last night because somebody asked me about, you know, do they still sell these things? Where can I get one? So basically, I've told him Canadian Airgun Forum. Somebody might have one for sale, or you can put up a wanted ad up there, you know, that you're looking for one. Maybe somebody will let theirs go. You never know. You're probably going to pay a premium price, though, because these are vintage guns, even the Phase 2 version. But they did make a bug-out kit version that came out in 2019. Now, it may have been slightly before 2019, but the only video I saw was from, I think her name is Airgun Angie or something like that. Anyways, she has the bug-out kit, and it comes with a bag, it comes with the backpacker, comes with, you know, some camping things like a saw and a flint thing to start fires with, the whole nine, and it's like, that's pretty cool. And apparently she got hers from Pyramid Air. Now, this is a 2019 video she posted, so I figured, well, I didn't hear anything about this, so I checked Pyramid, and they're not available. And, of course, I went to Crosman.com. They don't have them. Crosman.ca don't have them. So I'm wondering if maybe they just weren't a popular thing. That or they really didn't market them right, you know, like for promotional-wise to get them out there. Because, you know, I know a number of people that want this gun and or that they have it already and they love it. It's a really awesome gun. You know, I mean, Crosman, when it came to years ago, they made outstanding guns, and they have for decades. The company's been around for about 100 years, you know, so I mean, they've made some really fantastic guns. but they've also made their share of crummy ones, and some of the newer stuff they're making today, it could be a lot better quality, you know, in areas, but some stuff is still, you know, it's pretty good stuff, right? It's good guns. But the backpacker is something that they should keep going around, because like the 22X series of the 2240, 2250, 2260, the 13X series for the 1377, 1322s, these are all moddable guns. You can create this thing into anything that you want. You can take the barrels, make it shorter. You can put a 24-inch barrel on. Of course, for you Canadians, when you do something like that, you best be detuning this sucker, especially if you don't have a license. But, you know, it's the whole thing of, you know, they are great guns. They've always been great guns, you know. I mean, yeah, my 2240 was a little on the shy side on speed. I did have to do some serious valve mods to get it up to speed with a 10-inch barrel. But, I mean, you get the odd fluke one, you know. It's like my 1377. It's got a weird valve in it that I still have not been able to straighten out. So just as a little hint ahead of time, I have decided to try the plugging the bleed hole trick. Okay? And now I couldn't get the screw all the way in, but I got it most of the way in. And I'm going to be reassembling the gun today and chronographing it and seeing what I'm going to get. Now I did re-chrony that gun prior to taking it apart last night, and I'm still only at 430, 420. I might get a 440 if I'm lucky, okay? I'm pushing for 490s. So I'm using its own valve. I've plugged the bleed hole already, and it's plugged. That screw will never come out. I actually made it thread itself into the hole. And it was interesting because I had to clamp the screw into the vise and really reef her in there. And I got her a little over halfway in at least. So, you know, not a complete full blockage of that porting of the bleed hole, but enough that it should at least raise the FPS up enough that we should be able to see at least 470s, 480s out of that gun is what I'm hoping for. But we will test that, and if we do have an issue where I've gone over the edge, then I will have to put in a reduced transfer port, which I already have kicking around, so not a big deal. This is the reason why you also need a chronograph, is when you are experimenting with trying to even jack up a under 500 feet per second air gun, close to that 5, you really should have a chronograph, because if you go over the speed limits, you know, you have to make sure that you dial it back, okay? So, but as far as this gun goes, though, I really like it. I'm loving it now that it can actually shoot right. So definitely, if you can find a used one of these kicking around somewhere, they are definitely worth getting. Now, you can still get a lot of the parts for it. You can get the pump piston. You can get the pump cup. I put on a steel breech, but you can still get plastic breeches if you're the plastic breech type. I recommend a steel breech on any of the 22X or 13X series guns. Why? It's going to make the gun much better quality. Okay? Now, as far as helping with any kind of accuracy, I've never seen a real big difference between a plastic breech and a steel breech as for accuracy. However, there is a slight bit of FPS difference by a couple that you will actually gain, because you'll get a little bit better seal, but you get the option of, you now have a dovetail up here. So now you can mount any dovetail optics you want, or you can even get dovetailed to Picatinny converter rails, and you can run Picatinny devices at that point. Crosman does have a barrel mount clamp kit, but it absolutely sucks. I've had them before. They're horrible. Though some people use them and they seem to like them. I don't know why, because they can wiggle very easily, and that can really throw off your targeting. So you need a good solid lockup. But also, when you're looking at resale value of the gun, you're going to gain more resale value even on a newer gun if you have a steel breech on there, because that is a big thing. Now, in Canada, we average about $50 to $60 generally for a steel breech. This one was actually priced at $69. They gave it to me for $59. So I got a $10 discount, which was actually quite nice of them. And so I'm happy with that. But you can buy these breeches anywhere where they sell Crosman guns that they sell Crosman parts for breeches. Okay, lots of places have them, but I do recommend them on all of them. But especially if you want optic access properly and securely. But also, like I said, it's a quality thing, and it makes the gun, all metal except for, your pump arm and your stock in this case is still plastic. Your front sight's plastic. Barrel bands are plastic, but, there are aftermarket parts to metallize pretty much everything. And you can get wood stuff for these things too as well, so you can really make it a much more quality gun to your liking and style of choosing. I do like the skeleton stocks though. They're nice because you can actually use this as a handle if you wanted to, or on a CO2 gun, slip a shotgun shell sack over top here, or sock, and load your CO2 bottles in there and carry them with you. I've done that on a couple of my guns. But yeah, so the only annoying thing I find about this gun, I don't worry about the fact that it does have a little bit of a wiggle. What bugs me is the detent pin release on this. It can actually carve into your hand. So if you're holding the gun when you're pumping it like this, you're going to be frictioning your hand in there, and it's going to start carving into your handle like it has to mine, as you can probably see my little wound there, right in this area here. Okay, so I would advise maybe holding it down lower, even down here, rest it up on your leg or however, and then pump it up and away you go. Okay, so, but overall, awesome gun, highly recommend it. But it's kind of your taste if you like pump-up guns. As far as me, I like the pump-up guns because I can shoot them in the wintertime. What I don't like about them is if they become, really stiff to pump, because some of them really are. Like this one can get really stiff. I've got another one that gets pretty bad too, and it's just, you don't want to be doing that all day long, unless you got like, Mongo muscles and a really good hand and wrist. I shot, I think, about 30 or 40 rounds off, and my hand was so sore and cramping up, just from pumping the sucker. But the thing is, you got to get the air in there somehow. So there you go. But yeah, over time you get used to it, right? I guess I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to that, because my first preference in life is CO2 guns and springers and nitro guns. Those are my three main choices. Pump-up guns are more of a thing where, I shoot them every once in a while. And of course, like I said, they're great for winter shooting because CO2 gas sucks in the winter. Springers are a little on the erratic side. This winter we will be testing the nitro piston out for the first time ever, to see how well it does in winter shooting conditions. Because I'm kind of really curious about that, to see how sappy it's going to be, or maybe it'll actually be better than a springer. Maybe it'll be who knows, equivalent to it, or maybe it'll just downright suck, and that's what we need to know. But these things, you can fire them off in the winter and your speed will stay just as consistent as it does on a hot summer day. So, that's a good thing about pump-up guns. And I don't know about PCP as of yet. I am planning on a PCP rifle, so when I get one, then we'll do that kind of testing and see what they're like in the winter versus the summer weather too. In the meantime, we got some crummy weather this week coming up, and right now it's actually pouring down rain outside, so no shooting today. But I am going to do a versus video of the 1322 versus this 2289, because the only real difference here, other than optics of course, is going to be barrel lengths. Okay, otherwise the guns are basically, for the most part, very identical to each other. So this is my 1322, and you'll see why I want to change the scopes now. This thing is like honking on this gun, And then we got the backpacker. I think the backpacker deserves the bigger scope, to be honest, so I'm going to swap them around, but I'll do that after the video. I want to leave them set the way they are, because right now this gun is completely dialed in. This one is almost completely dialed in 100%. So I want to put one against the other that way, and we'll see how they do. Of course, we have black trigger system here. Now, I'm going to have to lighten the trigger up on this one. I haven't done that yet. This one I have. It's much lighter. So I want to have them fair as far as being able to shoot them at the same sensitivity levels or similar sensitivity levels. But both have steel breeches, both have the exact same valves in them. But like I said, the only real difference is, well, tube lengths are different. But the barrels are the big thing, you know. And if you're wondering about what this Crony's out at, go onto my channel and look up the Crosman 1322 Crony testing video, and you'll see what this thing actually Crony's at. Now, this is one of the newest model 1322s out there, okay, versus our fabulous vintage 2289, okay. But yeah, so we're going to have a competition against these two and see which one actually shoots the best, or if they both shoot equally as well, set up as rifle configurations. I'm not a pistol person, although I have a few pistols. I have a lot more practicing to do on pistols, but I love rifles, and I'm really good with rifles, so, you know, that's always been my first love. But anyways, till next time, thank you so much for watching, and if you're not subscribed, please do so and smash that bell for notifications. Do check out my other videos on my channel. I have a variety channel, and I've got thousands of videos up there. So, catch you on the next one. Bye.